Yes, it's still Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. This is No Dunks. We're in the yard. I'm J.E. Skeets. We got Tass Mellis. We got Trey Kirby. And we've got some trades. Multiple trades coming through here this afternoon. Let's break them down. How you guys doing? Did everybody even get lunch in before we jump into these? Because I'm starving right now. I didn't eat.
I was dressing a salad while looking at my phone. An alert pops up. Boom! Salad being dressed, mouth dripping, lettuce, everything coming out as I'm reading this, trying to interpret how many guys are going which way. Yes, I'm fed.
TK, did you get any meatballs in?
I did. I had a giant bowl of leftover spaghetti and meatballs, and they were delicious. Now I'm protein powered, ready to talk trades with the fellas.
Yeah, let's do it. If you're new here, thanks for joining us on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. We go daily with this show, 10 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. So make sure you join us then. First trade, we'll start with the one that came while Tass was eating salad, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies are trading forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, the minivan himself, and 3 future first-round picks. Shams the first to report this, though I saw Jake Fisher's mustache reporting that the Jazz, when it gets into those picks, it is the most favorable of the 2027 first-round pick between Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. The Lakers' 2027 first-round pick, top 4 protected, and the Suns' 2031 first-round pick, which is unprotected. So here we go. Tass Mellis, Jaren Jackson Jr., the first domino to fall in Memphis, going to the Utah Jazz. Your thoughts?
I can't believe I'm saying this. This is a win-win. I'm excited for both teams in this scenario. I'm pretty happy for the Memphis Grizzlies to reset. What they got with Jaren Jackson Jr. at the top wasn't getting them anywhere deep into the playoffs. They have that sort of issue going on, so they needed to max out what they could get for Jaren Jackson Jr. and all those names you threw out there, Skeets. I mean, what it really comes down to is the 3 first-round picks, but I think Walter Clayton was important in receiving that. And those picks, as you broke down there, that's a favorable pick, that first one. That's a big, juicy one, the Laker one and the Suns one. I think that's as good as you can get for Jaren Jackson Jr. right here, right now. There's lots of depth, currently on that roster, but right now they just needed a complete, entire reset. And as far as the Jazz go, yeah, I can't believe, but I think they can't just continuously go into the draft and keep missing. That's what they do. They've got 4 guys who could play in the Rising Stars Challenge in a couple weeks. 0 of them are playing. I'm sure they would have actually asked the Memphis Grizzlies, hey, can we give you Ace Bailey for Cedric Coward as well? We kind of messed that one up last year. So going to build around Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, and now Jaren Jackson Jr., 3 guys who could score, obviously. This is such a great compliment for beside Lauri Markkanen to have a 5 beside him who will defend the rim, because Lauri is decent on ball, good player, help player, but not great at defending the rim. So, there's some questions as to who starts around them. I think with those 3 scoring guys who are capable of scoring, I think Vince Williams, who they just got back, is literally an option, or Walker Kessler if you're going to go huge like the Cavs did with Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Lauri Markkanen. They have options there. I think just overall, this team is looking kind of like the Portland Trailblazers are right here, right now, this season, like a hopes of a 500 team. So I do like the complete reset of that team.
Okay, Trey, Tass calls it a win-win. 2 thumbs up from both sides here. He understands what both squads are doing. What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, we got ourselves some trades. Delicious stuff. Great to actually see the slop season kicking off, and I'm actually with Tess. I think this is good for both teams. I'm personally proud as well. I had Jaren Jackson Jr. as my number 1 trade target, and he was traded. Check mark. But yeah, let's start with the Jazz side of things, because I do think this is them hitting the gas a little bit on their rebuild. They kind of been stuck in neutral since trading away Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They had that great first season with Markkanen in Salt Lake City, went to the All-Star game, but then they traded away the remaining parts of their veteran core that was around the Gobert Mitchell team. And they haven't really been able to even recapture that sort of a feeling since then. So this is them getting a front court mate for Lauri Markkanen. And I think it's a pretty good fit. Like Tass is saying, Jackson is more defensively tilted than Markkanen is. Markkanen is still going to be the main scorer. I'm interested to see what Will Hardy will do with Jaren Jackson Jr. because I think a lot of the success for Markkanen comes from the system that Will Hardy has put in place that really features him and plays to his strengths, coming off of screens and getting him the ball moving rather than having him just have to attack a set defense. I wonder how he will be able to use Jaren Jackson Jr., who's more of an ISO player, more of a bully ball guy. I wonder if he will get some easier baskets now that he's in Utah. I'll have a little bit of concern for the rebounding with those two guys. Neither of them are big boardsmen, I don't think, but like Tass is saying, they could play a huge lineup. They could start Ace Bailey at the 2 with Keontae George there as the starting point guard as well, and then just have a lot of positional size, which should make their defense at the very least a little bit better. But the Jazz were stuck in their rebuild. They have so many surplus picks that they're barely trading any of their own draft capital, right? This is things that they've acquired in other deals. So to turn 2 spare picks plus one of their own, I suppose, into a player like Jaren Jackson Jr., I think this is great because they haven't had a lot of great success in the draft. Keontae George has become a find, but other than that, it's like, who are you necessarily tabbing as a building block? Ace has shown some potential. I think he's been better lately, but still too early to know. This at least gives them a pathway forward to building a competitive team in the Western Conference. It'll be fun to see Jaren Jackson Jr. and Markkanen playing together because they're both really versatile players on both ends of the court. So I'm excited for that. As for Memphis, I just think this is smart. Once they traded Desmond Bane, the writing was on the wall. They could blow things up. It went poorly this season, and now they've got 13 first-round picks in the next 7 drafts, as Bobby Marks noted. That is tied with a couple of other teams for the most in the league. That means they can take less for Ja Morant. That means the rebuild is completely on around Cedric Coward, around Zach Edey, assuming he's able to get healthy and stay on the court. So I personally have thought Jaren Jackson Jr. was totally checked out on the Grizzlies this year. He played an awesome game against the Timberwolves last night, looked the most engaged I've seen him this season. He must have known the trade was coming. And he wanted to go out and give the Grizzly fans something exciting to remember him by. So I think this is a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree. I get the reasoning for Memphis, and we can talk about what this means for Ja Morant and him potentially being moved here in the next couple days before the deadline. But yeah, from the Jazz side of things, like this is a historically bad defense. I know they've been okay. They've won 15 games. Like they're 20 games below 500. They have won 15. Maybe that surprised people, but it is so bad defensively. They just hope they win a run and gun game and nobody wants to play defense for 45 minutes and then they can hold on and get the victory. So adding a guy who is still a really good rim protector and Jaren Jackson Jr. for draft capital, like you guys said, that you had accumulated in all these other deals and all these other teams picks. And that's all it took really to get him. I like it. I like it. And man, what a core. If they hit in this year's draft, like if they keep their pick, which they have to keep their pick still, it's top 8 protected, right? Otherwise it's going to the Thunder. But if they keep it, and let's say they get a little luck in the draft lottery and jump up into like the top 4, 3, whatever, and get one of these superstar sort of guards. Wow. Like that would be a special core, I think, having moving forward. So I think that's good work. And the Grizzlies have just we saw the writing on the wall. Now Fisher wrote, they knew they were doing this as soon as they started entertaining Ja Morant trade offers, and rival executives saw an opening to deal for Jaren Jackson Jr. And the market for Triple J was just much better, much more robust than it was for anything for Ja Morant. Again, that's according to Jake Fisher. Do you think, though, Tass, that this just means maybe it's not this return in terms of the draft capital, but Ja Morant's next and we go somewhere else before the deadline?
That would be the move. That would be the smart move. And it's not going to be the same draft capital that Jaren Jackson Jr. just got. But it is a teardown, and it's just an optimal time that they're able to go get this for Jaren Jackson Jr. and then pivot and do the exact same thing as as much as they can for Ja Morant. I say it's just the opportune time because they have to. They are just hanging out and in sort of this mediocrity because they've got depth and they've got a really 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 solid player in Jaren Jackson Jr. But your draft picks aren't going to be all that great if you continue just to be in that middle of the road. So they have to get worse. And this was the time to do it, to keep Jaren Jackson Jr. around as this whole Ja Morant kind of cloud hangs over them for years and years and years was, I thought, worrisome coming into the season. And so just to keep him hanging around past this season would be less than ideal. But this is just the absolute perfect time. And as you mentioned about the trade value for Jaren Jackson Jr. versus others in this league, I'm not sure exactly if, depending if we see Giannis get traded or not, if there is an actual better package that we're going to see be dealt by Thursday. I mean, 3 first-round picks being the primary part of it. But this is a good get for Memphis to turn this thing around.
Trey, do you think it's possible we see these two teams that just traded here in Memphis and Utah pass each other in the standings as the Grizzlies try and make their way to the bottom of it? And the Jazz, if they add Jaren Jackson Jr. and he plays and he helps them, that they creep up there but want to remain in the bottom 8? Like, what do you think here? Or is it just like they'll both be bad? Don't worry. We'll probably have an injury for Jaren Jackson Jr. I throw that in air quotes coming up.
It wouldn't be surprising to see a mystery injury pop up for Jaren Jackson Jr. because you mentioned the top 8 protected pick. That is going to be tight. Utah is currently 6th in lottery odds right now. They have 15 wins on the season. 8th and 9th in lottery odds are Dallas, 19 wins, and Memphis, oddly enough, with 19 wins as well. So Memphis is going to get worse, though they can't be much worse than they have been recently. The Jazz, though, they're going to have to pull some shenanigans, I do believe, to keep this pick, or at least hope that they get some luck on lottery night.
Yeah.
They've done a good job of keeping their veterans healthy during the last month of the season as things have started to really matter in the lottery races. So I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. alone means that the Jazz are going to start creeping up the reverse standings. So yeah, I think he'll find a way to sit here and there, but they got to at least see what they have in Markkanen and Jackson together on the court. So they'll play a little bit together, let Keontae George run the show for a while, give the Jazz fans something exciting to see, and then get ready for next year, because at the very least, they're hoping that this is the last year they have a great chance in the lottery. Maybe they'll still have 1% chances here and there as the seasons go on, but this is their last really good shot at one of these top picks. But I think it's worth it. They've been trying for a top pick for years and years, like Tass is saying, and they just keep ending up at the 5th or the 9th spot. So maybe a sunk cost already. Somehow the Thunder just have chances at so many lottery picks, and they're looking better and better all the time. Like they're thrilled if this James Harden trade goes through with the Cavs, because that makes their Clippers pick better. They're probably happy that Jackson is going to the Jazz because it makes it more likely that they get the 10th pick or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that trade happened a long time ago. Derek Favors has been retired for years. If you can get Jaren Jackson Jr. for leftover picks and some guys who could have been a part of your future but not locked in, you got to do it.
Yeah, and as far as Keontae George's growth this year goes, I think his growth just allowed the Jazz to make this trade happen, because they saw an incredible guard handling the ball, and they could say, all right, we are absolutely going for it. And we've decided we are going to trade away draft picks to get a great defensive player to help out this stinky defense. And so just that, all the growth in the offseason, him with Will Hardy, have definitely allowed this to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, because they feel like they have maybe a core now. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not old by any means either. I mean, he feels like a lot older, but he really isn't. So yeah, they're thinking we get Walker Kessler back after the shoulder surgery. We have Keontae George. We have Lauri Markkanen. Yeah, Ace Bailey, obviously hoping to grow into a better player. Now you had Jaren Jackson Jr. to help defensively. You still have other guys on your team that you maybe hope to pop off into Sensabaugh and stuff like that. So Yeah, and then the pick, if they can keep the pick, and obviously add that to the crew here, it's a nice little team moving forward that's been in the doldrums here for a while, like you guys have said. Fun little note here.
I do think Memphis makes this deal with Walter Clayton in mind, because the guy, I know he hasn't made headlines this year, but he's good. He's been finishing games with Will Hardy, playing the guard, and look, the scoring numbers not so good, but watching him play, you could tell why. He was a college champion last year. He can score on his own. The hope is that shooting comes around, which you imagine it will. But that guy he gets after it defensively. So, that's just a part of it. That's the whole part of the Memphis thinking, I think. It's a good get. When all is said and done, he will be a player.
Yeah, I'm sure the Jazz didn't want to include Walter Clayton, but maybe this was like the sweetening to get it done here, or it was going to be another first round pick. And it's like, okay, we'll go Walter Clayton instead. And the Grizzlies need to have a junior on their team too. They just traded 2 juniors for 1 junior. Yeah. So I don't know how you feel about that, TK. There's a lot of J's here.
They got Scottie Pippen Jr. already.
Oh, okay, well they still have 2 then. That's good.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys who are backup point guards in Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., and now Walter Clayton Jr. But it doesn't matter. They're going to trade Ja Morant by the deadline. They're going to get a bag of beans back. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and they're going to hope that Zach Edey gets healthy next year and that they hit somebody in the lottery and are able to build the next edition of the Grizzlies team.
Yeah, I saw this fun fact, I guess we can call it that, by way of NBA Reddit. The 2018 draft, which is, one of the better drafts in history. The top 11 players have all been traded now during their careers. And they listed them all, at least their first trade. Ayton traded from Phoenix to Portland. Bagley traded from Sacramento to Detroit. Luka traded from Dallas to the Lakers. Jaren Jackson Jr. now traded from Memphis to Utah. Trae Young traded from Atlanta to Washington. Mo Bamba traded from Orlando to the Lakers. Wendell Carter Jr. traded from Chicago to Orlando. Colin Sexton traded from Cleveland to Utah. Kevin Knox traded from the Knicks to the Hawks. Mikal Bridges traded from Phoenix to Brooklyn. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander traded from the Clippers to OKC. Miles Bridges at number 12, holding on for dear life with his original. That's a crazy, crazy stat there.
That is incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and some talent, like I said, in that list too. Crazy. Anything else on the Grizzlies trading Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz here in a 7-player deal that, if you're just joining us, I'll tell you what all the moving parts were. Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. and his guitar headed to the Utah Jazz for Walton Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. Anything else, Tass, on this one?
Yeah, I would hope that the Jazz find some good defenders to play around Keontae George just on the perimeter, because it's still a hole. Like, who is defending the perimeter on that team? It's a fair question to ask, and that's the issue there. From there, the biggest question is Jusuf Nurkic is definitely expendable. Will the Toronto Raptors be able to attain Jusuf Nurkic? Somebody needs to get him. The salary might be too big for the Toronto Raptors just because of how much they're paying their top end guys, and they're not getting rid of their top end guys for Jusuf Nurkic. So they got to, put together a few different pieces to get up to Nurkic's salary. But I know we're all thinking, where's John Morant going to go? But where's Mr. Jusuf Nurkic?
Not this sicko over here. You're thinking John Morant and Giannis. Tass is thinking Jusuf Nurkic, baby.
Somebody needs it. Hey, the Raptors need one massive body to hit the other bodies on the other team. They need one. That guy could be it at 16. I think it's around 16 mil.
No, he's closer to 20 mil, that guy. Yeah.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal for Nurkic.
I think so. It's like 19 something, but yeah, I hope it's not goddamn Raptors getting Jusuf Nurkic. But I also
it's an expiring contract.
No, I didn't say that, but it's 19-20, isn't it? You're gonna have to trade a lot to get to that. It ain't gonna be Ochai Agbaji. It's too big. Too big for the Raps. I think. They want Goga instead. All right. Well, we had another trade. Let's talk about this one just quickly. Right before we were about to go live, a second trade hit the stream team, and this one was a 3-team deal. Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit agreeing to a deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. to the Chicago Bulls and Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. Detroit also receives a 2026 first-round protected swap by way of Minnesota. So we got a Bulls fan here in the mix. Trey Kirby, your thoughts on Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. going to your team here?
I don't know what to do with myself. The Bulls might win 2 trades in a week. Is that allowed?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's ever happened before, but Ivy to me is a good buy low candidate for the Bulls. They trade Kevin Huerter, who is an expiring contract. They trade Dario Saric, who just showed up and was never going to be a part of this team going forward. Got 2 second rounders in the process of doing that deal. So to turn 2 guys who weren't a long-term part of the team into still a young guy in Jaden Ivey, I think is a pretty smooth move. He's only 23 years old, turning 24 here pretty soon. He was a high draft pick. He showed in college that he can thrive on speed, and I don't know that we've seen him be able to thrive in the NBA outside of that, but the Bulls are a team that likes to play fast. I think this kind of shows that they will be moving on from Ayo Dosunmu and Kobe White, 2 more guys who are trade candidates heading in to Thursday. If they're trading for a 23-year-old, it just feels like he is going to be at least first in line to be a replacement there. So he'll have a lot of opportunity in Chicago to show that he's more than he has been for the Pistons, but he does have to be more than he has been for the Pistons, but still a solid buy low deal here, I think, for Chicago. Pistons next is kind of where I look. Kevin Huerter, I think, can be a good bench shooter for them. Detroit is only 21st in 3-point percentage this year, 27th in makes. They do need more shooting. Now, Huerter is shooting 31% from 3 this year. Not great, but he is a 37% career shooter. So he's probably in the rotation at the very least as a guy who can shoot. And for the Timberwolves, this is just all about getting under the second apron so they can aggregate contracts. They're shipping off Mike Conley, $10 million off the books for them for nothing, saves them some tax and gets them some flexibility. So I think it might be a win-win-win. It just could be a win-win-win.
Type of day. Wow.
Yeah, as far as Jaden Ivey goes, I want to see him healthy for a full season to see how he can grow. After we saw him at the Cosmopolitan Pool once upon a time when he was just a young kid, I thought there is definitely some prospect for this guy. Watching him on the floor in his games, I wanted to see him for a full season under JB Bickerstaff in Detroit. That hasn't worked out, but hopefully it will in Chicago. Now, with Mike Conley Jr., it's so odd to see Minnesota just basically expend him. It's obviously for the money, and it is unfortunate. What do they do from here is a fair question. I mean, is it strictly about money, or is there somebody coming in to fill that hole shortly? Because a place where they're lacking is a ball handler. So it sure makes sense that they would go get some either oldie or some cheapie, one or two, or both, if it does work out. I'm starting to fall off the Chris Paul bandwagon. He's obviously both of those things, both old and both a ball handler and both a guy who can throw his weight around a locker room, which is something they may need. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case in that instance. And as far as Kevin Huerter, it's exactly what you mentioned there, Trey. He is big Huerter, big game winner. No, Kevin Huerter, game winner. Kevin Huerter, winner. Whatever he is, he's hit a game winner this season.
Game 7, Kevin.
Game 7, Kevin?
That's what they called him here in Atlanta after that one awesome Game 7 against the 76ers.
Oh, what a series. He was so good. That's where Kevin Huerter's career peaked, unfortunately. But he hit the game winner a couple weeks ago, right? I mean, that was what I thought was...
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah. That was
on Derrick Rose
night. Season.
Yep.
Yeah. So here we are.
Did the pretend fallback like he was Derrick Rose or reaction.
Yeah. So he can go hit some shots for the Pistons. I don't think there's any doubt of that. But Minnesota has to have something cooking here. Right?
Oh, yeah. They are in the rumors for Giannis and for James Harden. They've got to be looked at as a Ja Morant team. I would think so as well. And getting under the second apron means they can combine some of their lesser used players into a bigger deal. So this for sure is a first of many moves for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, because they create tax savings, significant tax savings. And then, yeah, they also open up a roster space too. There's that part as well with a couple guys going out. From Detroit side of things, like, okay, Kevin Huerter hit a game winner. He's not a great three-point shooter. He is for his career. He struggled this year. I'm not the biggest Huerter fan. He'll have his moments. I'm just like a little bummed out that this is all the Pistons ultimately got for Jaden Ivey. And I get it because like a contract situation's coming up and you have Cade, you have your star guard and then your other pieces. But I was hoping at this deadline, we talked about it, like, would they make a move for Michael Porter Jr.? Or like, could they come over the top for like a Trey Murphy III with a lot of draft capital? Like, I feel like that's unlikely now. And that's probably right. They're going to slow play this. They're trying to win a playoff series, obviously. Like, they're the best team in the East this year, but it is usually baby steps with this stuff. Like, I don't think anybody's saying they're going right through to the finals, despite having a great record. So I get that, but just a little bummed because I think this is a nice pickup by the Bulls. I'm with you, TK. Like, it's buy low, obviously. And I think he is a good player. There's still a really good player in there who, was injured and then was coming off the bench this year. And yeah, didn't have a huge opportunity. I would have loved to see him get back to what he was doing last year there when he was, that 40% three-point shooter and was attacking a lot more. And he's super young still, of course. So nice move by the Bulls. You've won 2 trades in a row, my man.
Well, let's see Ivy literally do anything. I feel like he hasn't hardly showed anything in the NBA. He can't really finish and shot inside, which is a problem because that's the majority of his offense. He's more of a driver and a transition player right now. Bulls want to be in transition, and they need some young guys who at least have upside. And Ivy, I do think, has that.
Yeah, but he started last season so well shooting.
That was 30 games, man. It was 30 games. 30 games. You got to do it for a whole season.
Yeah, well, then he had his fibia broken. I mean, that was a part of it. Maybe I'm wrong about the fibia. Anyways, the lower part of his leg when he was literally taken out, his feet taken out from under him by Cole Anthony, and he didn't have this season's training camp. He's been hurt for a long time. So the guy starts to rise in year 3, and then bam, he's broken. So yes, he hasn't peaked. Yeah, it's a good buy for sure.
He's only 23 years old, almost turning 24. Ooh, birthday right around the corner, February 13th. Look at that. Happy birthday in advance to Jaden Ivey. Anything else, TK, here on either of these 2 trades today? Should we just sign off before a third one happens? Because maybe now we're rolling here.
Yeah, maybe we are rolling. I have to think that the Bulls will continue to be active, shopping their guys. We'll see if there's any takers. My guess is that you can probably get, with the way the market is, like, you can probably get Io or Kobe for a combination of like maybe like 1 protected first round pick for either of them, more likely like seconds. Like, nobody's going to take Vooch. That's a buyout guy for sure. Mike Conley, does he stick around in Chicago? Like, nice vet to have around, but he could be using his time better, I think, than being in Chicago. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good call. I've always been high on the idea that Io DeSumo would go to Denver to be on their bench, but even his expiring deal might be a little too much for them. But Mike Conley could fit just to have somebody out there. Obviously not as good as Io DeSumo, but they need a ball handler to help them just in case. Just to be that Reggie Jackson when you need him for 15 minutes in a playoff game. And then you go and win the title. They just need one more ball handler there.
And Trey, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dario Saric never played for the Chicago Bulls, but did he get a number? Did they give him a jersey number?
Oh, I never saw a Dario Saric will wear X for Chicago Bulls.
Okay. I didn't see it either. I didn't know if I missed it. So
yeah, I think he was kind of it was known that this is a contract man rather than a player man.
Yeah. So he is obviously spun to another Central Division team here. So at least he's in the area. He's still by the Great Lakes.
I lied. Apparently he was supposed to wear number 20.
Oh, number 20. Okay. That's what he wore. That's what he wore in the Kings, I think. He didn't play a lot, but I'm pretty sure that's what he wore.
He's worn it before for sure.
Yeah. He definitely was a 20 man. Okay, we'll call it there. Again, if you're just joining us, you're new here, maybe to No Dunks, what the hell's wrong with you? But we go live every morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be live tomorrow, unless we're back for a big James Harden trade, Giannis trade, John Morant trade, some other big name maybe that we're not even thinking about. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share the show. Podcast listeners, we love you too. leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. While I have everyone's attention here, I'll remind you once again, we will be live on Thursday, trade deadline day special, starting at 10, going all the way through till 3 at least p.m. Eastern, maybe 4, as we just hang out and react in real time to all of the deals that we hopefully get. And otherwise, we'll just hang out and have a blast with you in the chat. So that is on Thursday, but we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, we'll see you in 5 minutes. Maybe. Or maybe not.